This is the Coalescence Chamber on hard. So I ran normal, but unfortunately I ran into some issues and won't be able to post the normal video. But that's okay. It's sort of a long quest and just a repeat of pretty much what was on hard or normal. You know, there's not much. I'm not running it any differently. So there are a few things. I'm generally gonna. This is not gonna be a speed version of this quest. You can do this faster. I'm gonna take a few shortcuts, like right here in the beginning. You don't have to fight any of these mobs. You can just run past them and jump down in the hole, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Take my poison, neutralization, and just jump down. So if you do the fight up front, it takes a few minutes, and then you'll get an extra chest at the end. It doesn't have anything special in it, it's just random loot. But if you want that chest, you can fight those enemies in the front and get that extra chest at the end. So I'm going to clear all the enemies for the most part. There's only going to be one spot I don't, which is basically when we jump down an area. There's a bunch of enemies that would take a long time to clear, and I'm just going to invis myself as I jump down that shaft.
This must be the other end of the portal. Close it quickly to sever the link to the temple.
And it takes a long time to go down, but I don't know what kind of damage I take on Featherfall. I've never tested it without Featherfall, so alright, just going to buff myself a few DPS buffs. So poison neutralization potions are pretty big in here. Take care of this troglodyte stink, which basically slows you down. It's sort of annoying. Alright, so you come this way and then go through this first gate. Sometimes it is trapped, and it is trapped this time. Alright, well I didn't even change my search gear there, and I'm finding it, so that's good. Alright, once we go through, and these Sturges are probably the most dangerous enemy in here. At least that's, you know, my opinion on the matter. All right, so we get two choices here. You could go north towards that gate. Oop, I've got troglodyte stink and whatever that was. So you can go north or west, and you want to go west here. I'll show you the map here in a second. And then you get a choice. You could go west and north, and on this one, this intersection, you want to go north. So you kind of, you go west and then north, and so all right, and then whenever you step, whenever you or the hireling steps on some of these kind of rocky, sandy areas, you're going to get bats and scorpions. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Like, I find that even when I jump over them, I still get them. Like, people say if you jump over them, you won't get them, but, you know, my experience is I still get them, even if I jump over them. Alright, so, Alright, I was going to do some explanation, but this guy's being very rude here and shooting arrows at me. Let me see if I can get him, and then I'll try to do a little explanation. Okay, so this quest involves two shafts. So this is shaft 1, we'll call it. It's like a southern shaft. And then there's shaft 2, which is a northern shaft. This one, you can only go up about halfway. Then you have to cut across to shaft 2, go up shaft 2, and then you can cut across and get to the top part of shaft 1 again. These lifts will lift you up, and if these are activated, you can get all the way from the bottom to the top of shaft 1 with just the lifts without having to switch over to shaft 2. But we can't do that till we first switch over to shaft 2, get back to the upper part, and then turn the lifts on. So we are going to basically go up 2 levels. That's the top of as far as we can get from here. And then we're going to cross over to shaft 2. Then we're going to go up 2 levels. And then we're going to cut across back to shaft 1. And then there's 2 more levels on shaft 1. And so there's 3 locked doors, and we need to find the keys to those 3 locked doors. So, all right, so I'm going to go up. This is a very, very confusing quest, and I'm not sure the explanations are going to make it that much easier. There is an explanation in the wiki, which is probably good to follow along as you're doing the quest. But it's just a very, complicated quest. And I think when it first came out, they sort of expected people to kind of figure out, like how all this worked. And so they don't tell you when you get a key, you don't know what the key is. You don't know where the key is for. You have to just sort of either figure that out or know it from experience. In my case, I know it from experience. But it's a very tough quest. So here's the first locked door we're going to unlock. And so the key to this is actually kind of the top part of this shaft. So after we cross over to shaft 2, then go up and cross back over to shaft 1, we go up 1 level, get the key, then drop all the way back down here to get in here. And so here's a lift. Again, that's a lift from the first level. All right, so this is going to be a little slow. I'm guessing it's going to take almost an hour now because I'm going to try to go slow and explain. And I'm going to clear all these enemies, right? So there is sort of a common strategy of sort of minimally killing as few things as possible. So for example, you might kill these because they're pretty lethal, but then you might leave the archers alone. But I'm going to kill most everything, not everything, but I'm going to kill most everything, and let me give Wyo and myself acid. That's probably the most dangerous element here. Nope, I gave protection from evil instead by mistake. The other thing challenging about this quest, there's only 1 shrine total. So, and there's 2 different approaches you could take to either get to the shrine sooner or save it for later. And if you save it for later, it slows the quest down a little bit. And so, you don't need a max jump skill or anything like that, but I am going to at least take a jump potion here. All right, let's see. And I'm going to try to, there's going to be enemies you can't reach. My sword is going crazy. I have no idea why. Let me see if I can stop that. There we go. Nope. I don't know what's going on with my sword. Let me switch to a bow. I've got, it almost feels like I have auto attack on, except I don't. But for some reason, it just keeps on going. Alright, so this guy we can actually go up. So, alright, so this is not the top of the shaft. You can see it goes way up, but it's as far up as we can get. And this will allow us to go higher, but we can't activate this unless we switch to the other side. So this is where I was telling you where you switch over to the other shaft, shaft 2. So we're now basically at level, what I'll call level 2 of the shaft 1, and we're crossing over to shaft 2. And that's the only way we're going to be able to get to, over to the higher level on shaft 1. All right, let me get these. Again, I'm just going to go slower because I'm killing all these enemies, but I would not recommend leaving a bunch of enemies up, if you're new to the game, unless you've already become comfortable with it, because it just increases the likelihood that you're gonna end up, in some sort of trouble. Okay, so when you're crossing over, you get to this point where you have a choice to go east or north, and you want to go north, or you can think of that left or straight. You want to go left. If you go the other direction, it's not really a big deal. You just do a fight you don't need to do. But if you want to avoid that fight, again, it's kind of a long quest. And true story, first time I ran this quest with someone, a real life friend and my guild leader, we probably took over 2 hours in this quest, and it struggled because I don't even remember if we were using the DDO wiki, but if we were, we didn't understand it, and so we were really struggling. And we swore we would never run this quest again. We just wanted to get flagged for Shroud, and it was so bad. It's like, okay, we're never gonna run this again. We're never gonna, reincarnate our characters. Now that we're flagged. But the funny thing is once you get to know this quest, it's actually kind of a fun quest because it's so unique, and you sort of become familiar with with the way. So it's not bad at all. It actually becomes it's long, but it's kind of easy, and it actually can go really super fast. Did that scorpion open that door? I think he did. I certainly didn't. Maybe I did by mistake. All right, so I'm gonna open it. Okay, so now we are heading to shaft number 2. And so basically, shaft number 2 has only 2 purposes. One is to get over to shaft number 3, and the other purpose is to get one of the keys. So shaft number 2 has only 2 levels. Shaft number 1 has, I guess I would call it 5 levels, but I'm not even sure if that's really does it justice. Alright, I'm going to get the Sturge first because they are the big threats here. And acid and magic missiles, all sorts of bad things. You can see on hard how much damage the hireling's taking here. On Reaper or Elite, I would handle this very differently. And there is some respawning in here. Not everything respawns, but there is a small amount of respawning that's kind of triggered by certain parts of the quest advancing. And so to do this fast, people would just ignore like these archers and just keep going up, taking the damage. But I am not going to do that. I'm going to try to. I may leave a couple, but I'm going to, for the most part, try to take care of all of them. Even though it'll probably take, like I said, it'll probably take me almost an hour to complete this quest doing that. And also because range is not my specialty. Actually, you know what? I didn't need to do this range because because actually we just jumped down here anyways. This is the way forward, so I could have just jumped down here and done melee. Alright, and you have to be careful around some of these jumps. Like, you don't want to get too close. If you get too close, you actually end up kind of going backwards and sometimes falling backwards and down. So you have to be a little bit careful. And all right, okay, so this is the first level. There's only 2 levels in the shaft, and this is where we're gonna get the final key to go to the top, very top of shaft 1. That's the final key to the end fight. So there's a locked door at the top of shaft 1. That's our ultimate objective, but we can't actually get there until we get this key that's behind that door. But we can't go behind that door until we get the key for that door. So it's just there's 3 keys we have to get, and that's the second key that we'll need. I'm gonna go use my sword. I think it's easier. Oops, I had my was dragging this instead of attacking. Alright, so it's trapped. Okay, so this is the top of shaft 2, or the second floor, you can think of it as. The first floor is where we get the final key, and this is where we cut across to the top part of shaft number 1. And so that's what we're doing now, is we're crossing over back to shaft 1. So we crossed over from shaft 1 to shaft 2, and now we're crossing back over to shaft 2, from shaft 2 to shaft 1, but to a higher point on shaft number 1. So if these guys I can't reach with my bow, I'm not going to worry about them at all. Like I'm just not able to, for whatever reason, get them, so I'm just going to skip them. You could leave some. We are going to go through here again one more time. All right, another trap. That was rude. And you'll see on Elite, you know, this is it's really not as bad as you might think on Elite. We can't run on a Reaper because the level lockout for Reaper. Now that we're 20. Alright, so let me these guys. I think I could do it if I jump. The main reason to get these is because they hassle the hireling, and because we're going through here again, so we'd have to deal with all that twice, and it basically ends up wasting a lot of the hireling spell points. We call the hireling over. Is there still I don't know where the archer is, but oh, here it is. Yeah, now an interesting thing, okay, here's a trap again. An interesting thing is, you know, we're going up shaft. It's always seemed a little weird, but we're actually going up to get to the topper part of shaft 1, but we're dropping down. That's because we're dropping down a smaller. We're just dropping down 1 level. We went up 2 levels, and we're dropping down 1 level. So that's why that kind of all works. I've actually thought it would be really cool if somebody made a 3D model of this cave, you know, and could you know, so you can kind of see it in 3D. It would kind of help a lot. I somehow switched to the wrong weapon. And you want to be careful when you're, fighting all these things that spawn behind you, that you don't get turned around and going the wrong way. That's not an uncommon thing to happen here because, these caves all kind of look the same. All right, so yeah, we know we're going the right way now because we have to defeat this sort of kind of knoll encampment. I think I'm going to leave those two. Alright, now this is extremely, extremely important here.
You have arrived.
First thing you want to do is get this rune,
Now, hurry.
because if you fall down,
Creation of these fiends.
there you go. If you fall down, then you can get back up. If you fall down, otherwise you'd have to go, this is shaft 1 again, so you'd have to go all the way back to shaft 2 to get back up. So this is what I would call, I sort of refer to, just because I'm a number person, I refer to this as like level 3. So level 2 is where we can go back, but we couldn't go up. And this is the sort of the next level up, is you have to get to level 3 from either those lifts, which weren't active initially, now they are, or from shaft number 2. Alright, so let me get this caster. Oop. I give myself some acid. Got a bunch of casters here, so I gotta get them taken care of. And fire, I guess I'll need to give. So at elite, we'll probably, be a little more careful with how we take these guys out. You can see Wild's kind of struggling there. She's dotted. Let's see. Okay. So let me go this way. Let me get this bat that's bothering her. Alright, so keep going up. the caster, but he's way up there. I can't get to him yet. Get this guy. As soon as I can get to him, I will. Let's see. Let's see if this is a good enough vantage point. Nope. So I'm gonna have to go this way. So it's just, challenging. All these guys sniping you from these high spots, and we're, as a melee build, we're better suited for close quarter combat than dealing with these guys on all these ledges. But not too bad. We can get to this guy. Alright, Alright, this. Well, this guy can get with my sword. Alright, so this is one of those things that basically is going to trigger a respawn. Let's see if I can get this guy here, because he want to clear all this anyways. And they're not really respawns, they're additional enemies. If you didn't clear these enemies, there'd be even more enemies. Alright, so I'm going to go get the first key. So the first key is on this, 4th floor. We go to the 2nd floor of the top part of the shaft, but we're in the first shaft.
Fiends have some
and so we have to beat these.
See if they are.
Alright, trigger bags. Still a scorpion I missed.
Now find which door this key unlocks. There are sure to be more answers there.
So the key that this door, or the door that this key unlocks, is actually the first floor on this shaft. But we're gonna, some additional spawns have now come. So we are gonna clear up and down. We're gonna clear up to the top, and we're gonna clear down to the floor below this, where we came out of the 2nd shaft. Because we have to come back up here, and it's, might as well clear it now. And so you can see, the difficulty of there only being the one shrine in here. It's a real issue. But this is the there's 2 major respawn points. This is the biggest one, I think, in terms of number of enemies that respawn. They go right after my hireling every time. Alright. And I'm gonna have to, I want to conserve my spell points, but I want to use Holy Sword because it helps my DPS. Alright. Alright, and so this is the top. So we cleared up to the top. That's the end, where the end fight's going to be. We're going to get that from that door on the other shaft. There's one door on shaft number 2, and that's the key to the end fight. But first we're going to clear down here. All the way down to not this level, but the level below it. So there's some respawns that came once we did this, or once we defeated those gnolls. There is a partial respawn down to about we go. All right. And let's see, I don't think I passed it up yet, did I? Maybe I did. Get that one caster. I'm thinking I went too far. This feels like I went too far. So I'm just going to have my hireling hold here. I think we got most of it, but we may have actually gone too far. So I only meant to go down as far as we came up. So I'm going to invis myself. And of course I have a few skill boosts and such to do that, make that a little bit better. Now I'm going to keep my hireling here and then jump down. Oh yeah, there it is. So we just have one enemy to clear. So we didn't go too far. All right, and so, okay, there's one lift, right? That's the lift from the top, and then there's another sort of random lift in the middle, and then this is the first floor here. This one here, you want to stay in the middle, and you can see on the bottom, if you look down, there's a lift kind of at the very bottom, kind of to my south or left and down a little bit. So this is we have the key to this door, which is the first shaft, first level. And we're again going to fight some gnolls.
They are certainly leading us on a wild kobold chase.
Okay. I have a feeling you won't listen to me even if I tell you to interrogate Frocky. Just take care of it in your way.
And
this caster can be a bit of a nuisance here, so we're going to get him. Alright, and so this next chest or key, there's one with loot and one with a key.
The Ginny sounds puzzled. Another key. We seek answers, but I feel we are getting more and more questions.
Alright, so now we need to go up one more level. And we need to go through back to the second shaft where that one door was. So basically, we're just going to get the final key now. And we're going to go up this. Don't worry about this danger. It treats these as traps. And so sort of feather fall onto a lift, right? And then just kind of go up. And here, now this is as far as we can go. We could take that lift, but we need to go to the other side. So this is the way to the other side. So we're going to take this way to the other side to get the final key. And so in terms of monster kills, we're already at 228. So there's a lot of fighting in this quest. And we'll probably be, we might be over 300 by the time it's all said and done. And remember this, you go left here, or north, depending on how you look at it. So there's that one guy left behind. I'm just going to get him now. All right, so here's the door for the final key. So we're getting pretty close.
Let us see what is revealed behind this door.
And I'm going to have the hireling do this quick heal because I'm lower on spell points. Just because all the buffs and stuff I have to keep rebuffing. All right, so I'm going to kind of go in and then quickly get out. And get my hireling out. Alright, switch to my ooze weapon, and then if you get him in this door, you can sort of attack the ooze, and the ooze, doesn't engulf you. You could also use a bow if you if you prefer that. Get myself an acid. If WoW had less spell points, I would just be using a bow here, but this is going to be quicker. Alright, so this is the final key for the end fight.
this special-looking key. Let us hope this gives us access to the source.
And so there's two ways to get back, and I don't want to make this super confusing, but all right. So first of all, never kill anything but bats as you're coming out of here. There's an objective, and the quest could get kind of messed up if you.
It's an ambush.
There you go. So you want to get that objective before you kill anything. Otherwise, what happens is, if you kill them before the ambush, then you get the quest could sometimes not think it won't only give you credit for things you killed after the objective sometimes. So we had that problem long ago where we couldn't finish because of this. We killed something before we got this objective with range weapon. Alright, so 2 left, so we're good. I'm going to go down here and... Okay, so that's should be the only respawns in here. That ambush. And we're going to drop down. The other option you have is to go up. If you go up, we're going sort of back. There's sort of the entrance and the exit from the second shaft, and we're going back through the entrance the first way we came. If you go to the top, you go through the higher point, and you can use the shrine. So most groups use that shrine the first time through because this is quicker. There's some additional respawns that you'll have to deal with if you go the highway, the higher way. So this is what most groups tend to do, is just kind of go back the way we came, and then you take that like lift up to the higher level. If for some reason somebody didn't like that rune, that wouldn't work, but since we lit that rune, we could do that. And so now we're going to the very top of shaft 1, which is the end fight, which sort of makes sense. That's kind of where you'd expect all the action to be, is at the very top. All right. So this was sort of like the top. When we first came up, this is as high as we can go, but now we have this lift. And so, and that's where we came out of shaft 2 after the shrine. All right, so now we're just going to keep going up. There shouldn't be much left. Maybe we knew that guy was there, and there might be a archer or a bat or two that we missed, but there shouldn't be much because we cleared this path before. So now it should be just going to the end fight. All right, got to be careful on these because you could definitely, if you get too close to the ledge when you jump, it kind of pushes you back. So this is where we got the first key. So we're going to keep going up here. And it'd be nice if they had a couple more lifts to take you all the way to the top, but I think that's kind of part of this quest, is sort of this challenge of navigating this structure. All right, so now we use the final key. Bring the hireling up, and I am going to just tap us off. The hireling has more spell points, so we'll have the hireling tap us off. And I don't have much left for buffs, so I think my minute should be fine. So I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna give myself and the hireling, acid and fire. That's it. Since I don't have much spell points for anything else. Alright, and so that's it. So we are off.
This tiefling is fusing the blood of devils with inhabitants of the Vale of Twilight. His last fiendish creature. You have...
Alright, so I'm going to pause it while I go to the end reward. Nothing super interesting. This is somewhat interesting. Disease Guard. So I'll just grab something to break down for essences, and that is the Coalescence Chamber on Hard.